Hello and welcome to the Fabrity Talks podcast. Here we talk IT news, tips and tricks, use cases and case studies. If you have any questions about the subject that we cover, don't hesitate to drop us a comment or a message. If you would like to know more about what we do, visit our blog at fabrity.com or check out the links we provided in the episode description. My name is Michał, I'm a digital marketing manager here at Fabrity, and my guest today is Maciej.
Hi everyone, thanks for the invitation, and it is a pleasure to be a part of this podcast.
Maciej, you're an IT architect and consultant at Fabrity who specializes in low-code. I invited you today because in our first episode we talked about low-code development and possible groundbreaking role it has in IT, and we cover some basics. And now I would like to dive deeper into the topic, so that's why you are here. Our fourth episode is entitled Low-Code Mindset. Okay, so as a little reminder, low-code development is a general term that includes process development, low-code application development, and software development tools. And low-code development platforms allowed for automation of processes is to be completed by non-technical staff. So you can have some applications prepared by business users, to say it roughly. So Maciej, what would you add here?
I see a huge advance of implementing low-code solution commercial companies, and I am followers of these technologies. But personally, I am focused on Microsoft Power Platform, which is also the one of represent of low-code technologies.
Okay. Would you say, how does usual client that you meet look like? What are his demands? What he's looking for?
Nowadays, there are a lot of customers that are asking about the local technologies in a different areas. A lot of them are asking about Microsoft Power Platforms because they actually have Microsoft products like Office 365 or Dynamics. They have the licenses and they wanted to start doing something using Power Apps.
Okay, and why are they not doing it by themselves? Because, if you got the license in place, there is temptation to do it by yourself.
Of course, they are starting doing internally, would say. They usually have their own IT departments, some technical supports, some citizen developers that want to do something in Power Platform. But the challenge is they do not know how it works, how it should work properly, how to build this application, how to choose the right environments, how to configure solution, application lifecycle management, how to manage it, how to control this process, and how to build at the end the center of excellence in their own company.
Okay, I will stop you here. We'll talk about Center of Excellence a little bit later. So the question is, are they visiting you and talking with you at the point of, considering launching low-code development in the company? Or you sometimes meet clients who already made some effort, prepared some kind of low-code applications, and they have a problem with it, or they don't know how to connect it to other systems. What's the usual situation here?
We have a different kind of customers, yes. For example, last time our customer met with me and he said that he started to prepare Canvas application, yes, using the Microsoft Power Platform technologies. But his business team members has more difficult requirements, would say. So we need something bigger. And he heard something about model-driven application, about the business process flows, about Power Automate, but he doesn't have time to, analyze it, to learn about it. He doesn't have a proper knowledge, would say, yes. And he told me, and he asked me, "Hey, Maciej, can you help us? Are you good in these technologies? Can you prepare for us some business application?" And of course, yes, because I specialize in such a kind of application where we use model-driven, when we use Power Automate, when we optimize some business processes, yes?
Okay, so one more time to be perfectly clear, it is possible to prepare that kind of simple application by yourself. I mean, client could do it, but when they need something more, they usually will talk to you.
To be honest, yes, Microsoft Power Platform has a lot of services. Yes, one of them is a possibility to prepare something called Canvas application.
And what is it? What is a kind of application?
This is an application that do not require any database. You can connect it with external data sources like SharePoint, like Excel, and you don't need to buy additional licenses for such an application. If you have Office 365 products, then you can start preparing your Canvas application. In this kind of application, you start with the layout, yes? The layout is the most important thing, and you build this application like in the PowerPoint, yes?
So it's a drag and drop editor that allows you
Drag and drop editor, and you have a lot of ready prepared controls, buttons, and building this and designing this application, you use PowerFX language that is quite similar like Excel formulas, yes?
so like VBA.
Like Visual Basic, exactly. But I would say the much easier, yeah? So for business users that actually, for example, are doing some, things in Excel files, in SharePoint, and now they can, turn and switch to Canvas application.
Yes. So the question would be, could you give an example of that kind of application? I mean, what could we do with that? We'll use, pull data from Excel and send it to Word, something like that?
Okay, it depends on your creative because you can do a lot of things, yes, using this, but the target of this application is a simple process. Like, for example, register some tickets to IT department, register some requirements to HR departments, yes? So this application to do simple thing, not processing, yes, these things, and they are focused on, for example, one of department, yes? But when you think about the process, then you should think about the model-driven application.
Okay, and what is model-driven application then?
Model-driven application, this one has already prepared layout, would say, forms, and they based on the Dataverse. And if you want to use the model-driven application, then you need to buy additional licenses. But within the model application, you can use a lot of functionalities that earlier was using Dynamics. For example, Workflow Classic, you can combine it with the Power Automate, you can use a business rules, calculate fields, a lot of things, a lot of functionalities. And of course, the model-driven application is more safety because they use a Dataverse security mechanism.
Let us draw a line here and let's summarize it for our listeners. So basically in Microsoft Power Platform, you have two types of applications. One type is quite easy that has a drag and drop editor and allows for simple applications to complete some basic tasks.
Yes, and I would add only that you can start according to this Canvas application. They are maybe not so easy because also need to be fluent. Yeah, you have some technical skills, but you are able to prepare some application without using any, professional code, would say.
And you usually have got license for it in your Microsoft 365.
Exactly. And they are familiar with other Office technologies and products. And you can start it by using some ready templates. Yeah. So we can build application using prepared by Microsoft template and then try to modify it. Yeah. For your requirements.
Okay, and there is another type of applications where probably you need to do much more effort to deliver, and you need separate license because it's not included in 365, and that is point where you would usually meet with IT analyst and someone who will tell you how to do it and help you deliver that kind of more complex solution based on, for example, Microsoft Power Platform that we're covering mostly today.
Yes, Michał, and we should remember that when you want to design the model-driven application, you should have some technical skills because this application based on designing the database model, yes? At the beginning, you should design a database models, and then you build application. So the goals of this application is to ensure guidelines for bigger processes that came across a lot of departments, yes? And they are used a Dataverse database, some views, some forms, some business rules, and some other functionalities.
Let's discuss now model-driven applications because, well, This is where probably you would come in to the talks like that. So how the process of implementing model-driven application based on Microsoft Power Platform could look or usually looks from your experience?
We have our own methodology of building such application, yeah? Because when we are talking about designing model-driven application, we should connect it with some kind of digital transformation, yes? And at the beginning, we should ask the questions: do the company adapt low-code technologies or want to adapt low-code technologies or only want to prepare one application? Yeah. Usually it starts that, as we were talking about, that the company has some requirements. They started to do some small application, but they want to do something bigger, something more challenging.
Let's make one step back. So why do companies want to adopt low-code approach in their business?
Low-code platforms give us possibility to deliver solutions for businesses much faster, yes? They give us possibility to prepare application by business users that know our processes inside company, and they are supporting by technical guys. And with such a platforms, professional developers can focus on more critical processes and more critical application. Here, we can, of course, cooperate with them to prepare some, custom development extensions, but we do not need them to in a whole process, would say. Yes.
Do you ever met a client who implemented one single low-code application, Canva or non-Canva, and stopped there?
I didn't meet such a customers because each of customers that I have opportunity to talk about the Microsoft technologies started to prepare some, small application and then they want more. Yes, it's a good thing. Yes, it's a good thing for future because customers see a lot of advantages of implementing these low-code solutions, and they see that low-code, it's not only to prepare one application. This is some kind of mindset that we should implement and adopt inside our company.
What's the pillars of this mindset?
So I think that companies are thinking to adapt low-code technologies because they want to give the tools for the right people to speed up digital transformation processes. What it means, for example, a lot of years ago, the most important technology was, for example, the ERP systems, some kind of external system like a CRM and so on and so on. But business departments always invent something because they needed to quickly adapt to businesses' changes. And they started to working with Excel files, yes, and these Excel files, as all we know, can be a lot of these Excel files. I see a lot of Excel files that looks like ready application, yes, with a lot of Visual Basic, with the dashboards, with the sophisticated formulas. But the business wanted some tools that IT wasn't able to deliver them. Yes, IT department and this technology wasn't able to deliver such a functionality. Then we started to use SharePoints, yes, lists, and a lot of companies started to use, a lot of businesses. But all of these things that I am saying, it's not safe. It's not a safe way to build solution in commercial companies, yes? And I think that the companies nowadays and recently, the companies have awareness of how important security is and how important is be able to rapidly react for business changes, especially when we see what's happened, yes, across the world and after the COVID pandemic, yes? So I think that this company that identified such a problems started to analyze low-code solution. Why? Because this solution can build creativity in the companies. The business department cooperate with IT department. They know that they need to build some kind of certain center of excellence.
I wanted to ask you what the center of excellence is, because this is something you mentioned and I lack, some kind of definition here.
I would say that center of excellence drives innovation and improvements and brings together people with similar business goal to share knowledge and success while providing some kind of standard and consistency and governance within the organization.
So the bunch of guys who will take sales team excels with their automations inside it and put it into Canvas, for example.
Yes, I would say that some kind of community, yes, with the business or citizen developers or whatever we call it there, cooperate with IT technology guys and pro developers, yes, and each of them learn from themselves, yes. And whatever you call it, yes, this core group of platform owners must possess several key characteristics. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when I'm listening to that, I get the impression that this would be quite difficult to build up the team like that within the company from the people who are already there without, any external knowledge.
Yes, it's quite difficult. And that's why the companies external professional support. Yes. And this is our roles as an architect or consultant, yes, to show them how to build it. Because the goal of this center of excellence is to build and nurture partnership between business IT and citizen developers, yes? And for what, we can ask? To empower innovation for people closest to the business by educating new makers and fostering best practices.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think examples are our best thing here. I know that we cannot talk about specific cases as usual, but I would like to ask you, could you walk us through some kind of, standard approach to a client who would come to us and wanted to get their first low-code app and, for example, build Center of Excellence in foreseeable future, how that would look like?
I would like to talk about it, but as you say, we cannot tell too much to our listeners.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, some kind of standard mainframe that you approach to different clients. It's more or less the same, I guess.
Okay, Michał, I will give you the example. And maybe this example will clarify this our approach to deliver such a project and how we build this center, how we help to build the center of excellence our customer. So some time ago, I was asked to prepare some architecture and offer for one of our customers using Microsoft Power Platform, yes?
Mm-hmm.
But the requirements was that we should base on his specification, but this specification was prepared for custom application. And when I saw this, I think, no, this is not the way, yes, to do it. Yeah? We will not do the custom, UX design because Microsoft has its own design. This is not the goal, yes. So I started to talk with this customer.
Yeah, but by the way, this is a very good point. I mean, we very rarely talk about UX regarding low-code applications.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some kind of, standard components, and I guess you don't have...
Exactly. And Michał, this is why the model-driven application we can do much faster, yes? Because whole this UX UI process, we don't need this process, yes? Inside our project, because model-driven gives you the standard layouts, yes?
But still, we have some different, let's say, different low-code platforms that would allow custom UX and UI if the client would need that.
Yes, exactly. And I said the Canvas application give you possibility to prepare some custom layouts. But when we are talking about the Microsoft Power Platforms, we have already prepared, layouts and forms. Mm-hmm. And having this avoid us to, start this whole UX UI processes, designing all of, forms and layouts. Okay, so let's back to our example. So these customers, so I started to talk with these customers and we propose them to, okay, but let's do it using our best practice, yes? And what is our best practice? We have 4 steps when we are talking about adapting low-code technologies. The first step is always the prepare phase, which include design architecture, prepare BOM licenses, build a vision team, prepare environments, and so on and so on. The next step is quick start, because the really important thing when we are talking about the low-code solution is to build as soon as possible the first prototype of your application, but the prototypes that deliver some value for your business team.
So actually Scrum. So you're delivering first functionalities within the proof of concept.
Here we don't still talking about the execution phase, would say, but quick start, we are talking about building some kind of POC, build a prototype, but functional prototype. Yes. When you can cooperate with the customers, you can consult with stakeholders, this technology, and you're able to create a backlog.
All right. How long does it take from saying hello to delivering proof of concept?
It depends, of course. It depends.
Okay, come on. 1 month, 1 week.
A different branch have different demands and requirements, but I would say that we can do it in 1 month. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite impressive.
So after this quick start phase, we're trying to prepare a roadmap for the next steps. And the next step is to the implementation phase. And here we build functionalities, we maintain a roadmap, we conduct some UAT tests, and we try to launch each of application, that we choose together with the customers. And at the end is a step when we try to adapt low code. What it means? We have implemented, center of excellence. We gathering some innovations. We cooperating with the businesses. We manage users, licenses, capacity, environments. We are monitoring our environments and be sure that our solutions are secure.
I got one more question. How many people are usually participating in the Center of Excellence? And are they only on the client side, customer side, or they're also on our side?
No. We call it like a fusion team, yes? And these teams consist of either customers, team members, and some kind of external, would say, contractors like us, yes? We often play a role as some kind of consultant specialist in Microsoft technology, and we help and we show this, frames how to do it in the proper ways.
Okay, so what's the ideal number? I mean, how many people should be devoted on client side to participate in Center of Excellence? Because it's quite important from the point of view of, costs.
At least it depends how many areas are involved, yes, in our project, but at least it should be one person from business, one technical guys, one consultant, and maybe when we have some, huge demands, there should be some developer involved.
So 3-4 people should be enough.
For small project, yes.
Okay.
As I said. And this is only the beginning, yes? We are talking still...
Yes, sure. We were talking just about basic project, first one in the company.
Exactly.
Okay, so how long does that second step takes usually?
I can give you the example. Our last project using the Microsoft Power Platform, it was demand project because this project involves few external branches, would say. So we have challenges connected with the security system, with configuration, with the company structure, with business units, with record ownerships, and so on. But takes less than half year. Yeah.
Okay, so 6 months.
Yes, but we are talking about the implementation, about UAT tests, migration, about end user trainings, and go live support. So
okay, so actually working application delivered and users trained 6 months or 6 months plus 1 month for bulk?
6 plus 1, yes, we can say that, yeah.
We will do it.
We didn't have a lot of job, yes, after the go live, and this is I would like to highlight, yes, because it is really interesting. But I think that we focused during our implementation, put a lot of energy on UIT tests, yes, and that's why we didn't have a lot of problems after the go live.
I'm guessing that we all talk about Azure and cloud deployment here.
Yes. The Microsoft Power Platform is a cloud. Yes, it's in the cloud.
Okay.
I think that the important thing that we should talk about is, I would say, protection. Yes, because for enterprise companies, security is really important thing nowadays. Our customer often ask us about, these are usually questions, yes. I'm not talking only about the Microsoft Power Platform, but I have this question, yes, in my work. So our customer often ask about how can connect to this platform, how they can control, where they connect from, how they connect, how can they control the connection, yes. And I would say that Power Platform is built on Azure Active Directory for identification and authentication. Azure Active Directory helps Power Platform to enable all secure features, yes? So these features are, for example, sign-on, multi-factor authentication, single platform to engage with internal, external users more securely, yes?
And there's actually another point for building Center of Excellence, because I remember I was reading some kind of article, maybe on our blog even, that there is a catch in all that. I mean, giving people tools like Microsoft 365 along with ability to build apps sometimes results in people building apps and then these apps starting to live their life. People are forgetting about these apps and nobody is keeping eye on that. So Center of Excellence would solve that issue, wouldn't it?
Exactly. We call it shadow of IT, yeah?
Yeah.
And we all meet with this problem. But yes, that's why we should think about the Center of Excellence. And that's why I told you that we should involve in the Center of Excellence some technical guys, some administration, because one challenge is to deliver, design, deploy an application. But on the other hand, we should provide security, availability, backups, and so on. So backing to our discussion about security, I would say that this Azure AD, this is only the first layer, yes, of security. The next question after it is often about the database layer, yes. How is our data stored? How they are encrypted? Are they encrypted?
And are they?
Yes. Power Platform use TLS to encrypt all HTTP-based network traffic. And all customer data is encrypted before being written, to non-volatile storage media. And of course, Dataverse is our, database in cloud, which provides data for Power Platform. And this services has a rich security model that includes environment level, role-based, record, and even field level security. So this is a really sophisticated mechanism. And that's why I'm focused on model-driven application, because model-driven use the Dataverse, yes, as their database. And they are safe. Yeah.
So still much safer than storing things in Excel.
In Excel, in SharePoint, and we have control.
Okay, I think we should be getting to the end of our podcast. So could we just, point out the outcome of implementing Center of Excellence within the organization and starting using low-code applications? So speeding up the process is absolutely obvious.
Yes, speeding up the process. The next thing is that we build some community between the businesses and technology team members. Doing it, we empower innovation in our company, yes?
So speeding up the processes, innovation culture within the organization.
Yes, the business and citizen developers, yes, when they learn about the technology, they are able to implement some simple solution in their business departments, yes. They don't need the professional developers. So the professional developers can focus on critical functionalities, yes, and critical processes. But of course, when they are in one community, they can exchange the information, some news, some presentation, they can share the success, this is the goals of Center of Excellence.
So ensured transparency of all processes and applications that are within the organization. And you also, I believe, mentioned security quite recently.
Yes.
And I would guess cost effectiveness is also a factor when you've got solutions like that.
If you want to briefly sum up, I would say that by implementing a local and adapting local technologies, we can speed up the process, we can streamline communication, ensure transparency, ensure security, and as you said, ensure cost-effective deployment, maintenance, and future development, what is important here.
Okay, I think that would be all for today for our podcast. Thanks for listening. My name is Michał, and my guest today was
Maciej.
Thanks for listening again.
Thanks for all. See you in the next chapter.